schedule where we work on time to time things, where we have a schedule or a calendar based on how to manage our schedules with regards to matters on a daily basis. I know it's not always easy to do that because you're always getting piled and piled with hundreds and hundreds of files, and it's not easy. Recently, in this week, someone told me, you know what, he's going to resign because his boss keeps punching him with so many files, and it's because of a lot of stress, and also because they're understaffed. So, it is important for us to try and manage these things, and not often do we manage it well, and in the end, your peers become very indifferent from you. So I'd like to now put to the forum on how you are managing and how you are dealing with things in your environment. I'd like to also pass the conversation on to Alexa next.
Hi everyone. This is such a important topic to discuss, and I feel like I have a lot to say, being someone that just came out of the whole candidate attorney phase, newly admitted. I was only admitted in February, so I get the candidate attorney stress levels, and I also get the newly admitted where am I now stress levels. So a lot of times people are stressed, their mental health is just in absolute shambles, but they don't know why. They can't pinpoint what is actually giving them this anxiety, this depression, all of these different things. So a very important thing to do is to be able to find what your stressor is, find what your triggers are. So some of the things that I know are my stresses are excessive workloads. To go from a candidate attorney to an attorney, or from a student to a candidate attorney, the workload change is very difficult, and there are obviously things that are going to trigger you, and that was one of my triggers, the excessive workload, because that does lead to burnout, and that is just our jobs, guys. That is just how we are. We have tons of files like surrounding me right now. I think I maybe have like 40 files. Excessive workload is definitely a trigger. Poor pay. A lot of our colleagues, especially candidate attorneys, those who are coming into the field, there are different pay schedules. A lot of people get paid a little, some get paid a lot. It's different. But poor pay is a pressure. It is something that sits on you, even if you aren't thinking about it all the time. It's definitely there. A massive trigger is a toxic work environment. If you have to wake up every morning and you're just like, I have to go to this place again. I'm going to get shouted at. I'm going to get bullied. A toxic work environment is definitely a massive trigger. So if you can feel that, just remember that is my trigger. And then the stigma of I can't be bipolar. I can't have depression. I can't talk to people about it because then they're going to think I'm weird. People are so scared to accept what they're feeling and accept what's going on around them. Like, I personally know, as messy as I am, there is an OCD person inside of me that every now and then comes out and my anxiety flares. So I know my trigger is OCD, but at the same time, I know that my OCD doesn't always come out. So if you look at my desk right now, you'd probably think I'm a mess. But in like a week or two, OCD will kick in and anxiety. So what can we do? There's obviously a lot more other triggers, and I would also love to know, what are your triggers? Maybe you can help someone figure out, wait, I also have that trigger. How do they deal with it? So in the chat box, or as soon as I'm almost done, we can chat about it. Tell us what your triggers are, so we can also discuss how we fix those triggers, or how you, and you can tell us how you fix those triggers, so you can help other people with their triggers. So how can you manage your mental health? And I know people always talk about this, and it's easier said than done. I get it. But if you can just try it, maybe it would work for you. If it doesn't, then we move on to the next thing. So the first one, and I know it's the most difficult, talk about your feelings. So I know I have my colleague Lisa. When I have a very bad trigger, I can run to her and be like, so this is happening, this is how I feel. Just tell them to listen. They don't need to give you advice. Sometimes you don't want advice. Just tell them to sit and listen. Talk about your feelings, whether it's to a friend outside of work, a colleague inside of work. It always helps to just get it out as soon as it's there. Ask for help. This is a big one, especially for the candidate attorneys, the newly admitted attorneys who are overloaded by all of these new things. We had a week or the last 2 weeks from hell in our office. A candidate attorney is busy with an urgent application, her first one, and I'm watching her go through everything that we are talking about right now. She is about to explode. Ask for help. We are all here. Your colleagues are there. There are colleagues out in the world that can help you. I have my wand, my advocate who I can go to if I need help. Ask for help. People are there to assist you. If you don't ask for help, you are going to burn out. And that's where excessive workload also jumps in. If you're not going to ask for help, you're never going to get any help. Then take a break. Like, I've got my senior colleague on this call, but he knows I personally take a mental health day, a leave day, where I actually just decompress and I try and bring myself towards myself. I check myself before I wreck myself, because I know if I burn out, it's 2 weeks of me being sick. So take a break, take a moment, even if it's during a work day, go for a walk. My senior always comes out of his office, I'm going for a walk, and then we lose him for a good 5 minutes. Take a break, breathe, and calm down. Then for those people who actually have like actual problems, like there are people who just have workplace stress, and then there are people whose workplace stress triggers something that's deeper. You need support. I have the best support system. I have the world's best colleagues and the world's best friends and family, but I also have a great person that I pay to speak to. Support doesn't always mean people around you. It could be a therapist, it could be your pastor or your priest, or yeah, pastor or priest. Always get support. Support is probably the best out of all the options you can have. A great support system is what you need the most. So that's my 2 cents. Let's open the floor to people to let us know what's going on in their lives.
I also add to what Alexa's saying, 100% correct in everything she said. Also, what you can do is, I know a lot of times candidate attorneys complain that, you know what, I'm not getting paid well, and I don't have enough money to go to the doctor or to speak to someone. There are other ways that you can also deal with these kind of things, and it's temporary as well. What you can do is you can go on your phone app and download a meditation app. You can also try and, I know it's hectic. You work Monday to Friday. Sometimes some of us work Monday to Saturday. That's me. I go into chambers on a Saturday even. Sometimes even on a Sunday where I'm sitting and drafting. It is so hectic. So what you can do is, just go for that walk. Try and start a yoga campaign, or a yoga group, or even a hiking group. I'm not a hiking fan, but you know what? Sometimes environments they help you. So these kind of things are always a plus. And now we would like to hear from you guys. What do you guys have to say about this? It's important what you feel and what you're going through, because you never know who's out there that's listening to you, or who you can help. So I think, guys, let's open the forum. Let's hear what you have to say. And maybe we can also try and advise you on how you're feeling right now. This is always a forum where we try and assist candidate attorneys and newly admitted attorneys, or newly admitted advocates. We try and this is a support forum. So let us be your support today in this next few minutes. So tell us how you're feeling. We would like to hear from you. Absolutely. You al-
Ron, just to give you a frame of thought when it comes to mental health, my approach is every day, if I'm feeling overwhelmed in the office, I get up, I make myself a cup of coffee, and I come back and I start again. Sometimes this happens twice or 3 times an hour. Sometimes it happens twice a day. Then I have a very habitual habit. Over a weekend, I set aside 4 hours where I discuss my stresses of the week with my wife. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes. Sometimes it takes the entire entire 4 hours. But this is a way where I get it out. And sometimes when I've spoken about it, I realize, yeah, but I was being an idiot. This is such a small thing that it's insignificant. And it confronted me as if it were a ferocious lion. After that conversation, it's a tame little kitten. If you're on your own, it's much more difficult. What I used to do when I was Stocksillian is I would go sit outside in the evenings. I would put my laptop off. I would put all of my books away, and I would sit and I would smoke a hubbly. I do this far less these days, but nonetheless, I take time for me to process me. And that is my approach on how to keep on top of mental health. Litigation and practice, at its very core, consists out of stress and management. If you don't know how to manage your stress, you're not going to manage anything else. Thank you. And also, just while on the forum, I'm looking into getting a number of people here to discuss networking, as well as how to apply networking to yourself, to your practice, whether you're looking for clients, looking to join a conglomerate or a group of persons offering services to third parties, or looking to outsource your services to third parties. I'll, however, keep everyone updated. Yes, Advocate Lawrence. Okay, moving on. We've got a different question. How do you switch your mind off from thinking about work when you are not working? Is this something that is common? No. Very difficult. It took a lot of practice to do. And that's why I said I've kept a habit. And my mind has gotten into the habit of, for this period of time, or this period during the day, or this period during the week, you're not going to think about anything else. And where it's been an absolutely hectic week or day or month, I find something that will force my mind to switch off. As was suggested earlier, hiking. I've personally chosen fishing or hunting to take my mind off. And this is the way that I force my mind to switch off. It's not an election. I do it by force. Very good. Well said, Bruce.
Also, something that could possibly help is join a kickboxing club. Sometimes you want to take your anger out on someone, take it out on kickboxing. It will help. Punch the bag, take it out on kickboxing, because that is a good way of relieving your stress as well. You can never not think about work. I'm being quite serious here. It's very hard where you're having a situation and you're not thinking about something, even on a weekend. drop every for an hour at least. And that is why it's important to have an extra mural boxing. Like the mountain, go sit back, just inhale and exhale. That helps. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, can you not hear me?
There
I'm
we
my
go. Now we can
apologies.
hear you.
Can boxing group or club, because sometimes to just kick into the punch the bag and leave that way. And you never know. And there's never a time that you not think about work. It's just one of those situations where you are dedicated to your profession. So obviously you'll be thinking about work all the time, but you will have to put off at some stage and just break for an hour, have extra rural activities where you involved in, even just have a social life, but try and just talk to someone outside, inhale, exhale, go to the ocean, go to the mountain. Just these small things really does make a difference and help. But kickboxing, try that.
Advocate Lawrence, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yes, especially I have a question for Advocate Yasmin. For us as newly admitted advocates, I would like her to simply assist us in how we can be stable in the profession and grow, especially during the initial stages. And also on my part, regarding the stress situation, I started very small. I was just admitted in 2021, and I focused on small areas. So it was motion proceedings most of the time, and motor traffic law offenses. I focused on that, and really the issue of support is important, especially my family. I would like to thank them who understood, even though I brought little at home, but it didn't wear me down. So I had to focus on small areas. And the holidays that are coming, I'll be using them to study and go further in order to advance to a new area, which I would like to explore in the coming year. Thank you very much.
%. Look, okay, can you hear me? I don't know if my connection is still bad. Okay, it is very important. Let me tell you something. I'm also recently admitted. I got admitted as an advocate in August, but I didn't just jump into the field of just becoming an advocate. I've been in the field for a while. I also did articles. I was under the 5-year articles under the old act. So what I'm for a lot of it's very, very hard, and I also understand that, because you don't have especially if you're a referral advocate, sometimes as well as a trust advocate, now you need to build your clientele. It's not always easy. So what I do, because to get work coming your way, and it's important to be involved in legal groups. We associations. Like, I belong to quite a few. I'm on the panel of a I'm on the Association of Maritime Law, because that's one of the fields I do. I'm also on one of the tax law associations. So things like that, it really helps, because you tend to meet people that way. It's not always easy when you're starting off, but it will take some time, and if you're dedicated, you will make it happen. And especially for many of us, or who else here. But when when you're getting work from a firm that is on a panel like Legal Wise or Legal Aid, or if you're on that panel, they take forever to pay you. They take at least 3 months. And for me, when I started off my first day when I got admitted, I had three puts you down and under. But
Council, you are breaking up terribly again.
Oh, I don't know if you heard of anything I said. Yeah. Yeah.
Bruce, I just also want to compound what Advocate Yasmin was saying in response to Advocate Lawrence. I spent quite a bit of time at the sidebar doing trial litigation and trial presentation matters. And the first day I walked in, I was told by my senior associates, you are with the company that you keep. If you keep your company as attorneys, as a referring advocate or a trial advocate, or a trial advocacy specialist, you must be able to fit into the long-term and the short-term productions of those law offices from which you accept instructions. That being said, it was also said to me, cash is king. Find attorneys that pay quickly and pay well, even if it's a small matter or a silly matter, and take those as a regular client, even if you give them a discount. If your normal fee is, for example, 1,400 Rand an hour, and you discount it to them as 1,100 Rand an hour, for the condition that they pay within 30 days or something to that effect, I was able to see that this generated a lot more work from that specific firm because you treated them with importance and a hierarchy. Where after you would find, having dealt with a matter for one firm the one day, that firm of attorneys who were your opponents the one day will approach you and seek to brief you. It is a matter of networking, and I can't say this enough. This profession is 80% networking, 20% what you know, because you always know someone else that will be able to get it done. But you as the conduit must be able to extract a living therefrom. So if you are able to network yourself into a position where you are able to extract a living from being a mere conduit, you're going to find yourself a lot less stressed, perhaps initially overworked in the beginning, but a lot less stressed. Thank you.
Yes, I also agree with that. Also, the other thing is, someone mentioned on the group chat about attorneys not paying. I will also agree with that. It comes part and parcel of the profession. But you know what? What I suggest is when you're getting a brief, when you're getting instructed by an attorney, ask them if there is money in trust. Ask them. You have every right to ask. Has the client paid into your trust account? Has money been secured for this matter? You know, so I don't know. There's many advocates that work very differently. Some take deposit beforehand. Some take the full. And usually it's like a 30-day notice period at least. So I know it's very tough when you're starting off, and now you have all these matters and you never got paid. But you have to try and speak instructing attorney to negotiate everything in right. And cap your. I actually moved around. I don't know why, but what I'm trying, if you can, because those are going to be your client that you're going to be serving on, you know, the attorneys on a regular basis. So you know, it's these out of this. There's a lot of firms that don't pay, and there's horrible I heard of that has happened. But you have to make sure that you have it in writing, because if you don't have it in writing, you can't go lodge a complaint if need be with the LPC, because the LPC is very firm about this. If an attorney does not pay you, you are entitled to that money if you had an agreement. So it's important to have it in writing and to come in agreement with regards to your fees before the matter starts, or you entering into you know, sometimes you have urgent matters and it happens all last minute, and now you're overwhelmed and you didn't discuss your fees. But try and get that sorted out as soon as possible. Anyone else want to say anything? We have a few minutes. I'm
As
all
I
good.
said earlier, I'm working on getting a manner in which we can all link and network to come do a bit of a chat for us. But I will, however, let everyone know, and this will most likely be to the benefit of everyone. Thank you.
I'm all good. Thanks so much. I would like to once again offer the platform for the next 2 minutes. If anyone has anything to say, please speak now. This is your 2 minutes of relieving your stress in some sort of way.
Greetings, guys. I just want to ask here, like, if you are a newly admitted attorney and you just remain in your law firm, but then now the issue is that you're not being paid for what you qualify for. You still like underpaying for. I mean, you're still getting paid for the salary of being a candidate attorney. However, it's your wish to start a law firm. Like what's the requirement, and then what are the difficulties, if ever anyone can advise, maybe as to how does one go to start a law firm, and how much does it need? Is it how difficult it is? That's what I just want to query from you guys. And thank you for providing this platform. It means a lot. Thanks.